Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Thank you for joining me once again on another one of my adventures. If you're a regular to the channel, you'll know that my camping trips are very much a means to an end in that I incorporate my trips to fit in with my other activities. In my previous video I started a road trip, something I'd really been looking forward to for such a long time, as it took me up north to visit a few people and places. Sadly, you'll also know that my camera was playing up. Well, my trip went swimmingly, and I both visited and stayed at some fantastic places and thoroughly enjoyed myself. Sadly, when I returned home, I discovered that most of the footage I'd taken was totally unusable. But fortunately, I had taken some other photographs and bits and bobs on my mobile phone. I really want to show you where I went, as some of the places were knockout. I've worked hard at putting this video together the best I can. Please, I hope you enjoy it. I'm sorry it's even more of a slideshow than usual. Just bear with me and message me if you have any questions. I hope you enjoy.
A quick recap. On the previous day and day one of my trip, I left home in North Wales to travel up the coast to a place just south of Lancaster called Glasson Dock. It's an interesting spot as this is where the Lancaster Canal accesses the sea. If you've never been before, I think you might find it interesting as the place is a little unusual.
As many of you know, I don't always stay on campsites, but given the hot weather, I felt I needed a shower, so I stayed at the local Glasson Dock campsite. Cheap, only a tenner for the night as I didn't need hookup. The facilities are perhaps in need of an update, but I found a cold shower after such a hot day was very refreshing, and it did wake me up in the morning.
The following morning, bright and early, I headed inland, skirting the edge of Cumbria, to head into the Yorkshire Dales. I had a meeting to attend just outside Hawes, but with that over with, it was time to go exploring. Even from these few snapshots, you can tell you're in the heart of the Yorkshire Dales proper. Hawes is the highest market town in England, with farming still being the main occupation. This is mixed grazing country, with the lowlands used for dairy cattle and the high fells for sheep. You are more likely to find shops providing good quality outdoor clothing or basic provisions, as there are no supermarkets here. That being so, you're not short of the touristy shops and cafes, but strangely, you're just as likely to find a tractor parked outside some of the homes as you are cars. Don't assume that Hawes is in any way a sleepy town. It's the home of Wensleydale cheese, and it's big industry here. That's proper Yorkshire Wensleydale cheese, that is, not to be confused with the stuff made elsewhere. The cheese is made with milk produced by the cows you see grazing in the pastures up and down the dale. You can visit the creamery, take a tour, enjoy a cheese making demonstration, and see the factory where the cheese is actually being made. Even try some samples. You can wander around their shop and, of course, buy some lovely cheeses. I was ordered by the missus to pick up some of her favourite Wensleydale cheese with cranberries, whereas my own personal favourite is Wensleydale with apricots. But a short 2-minute walk up from the creamery is the village of Gale, where they hide their best kept secret. Gale Mill. This is a water-powered wood mill, lovingly manned and maintained by a group of volunteers. It's well worth a visit, but you'll have to go look for it as it's not well advertised, and it's only open Thursdays at the moment. It started its life as a cotton mill, which provided work for the people of Hawes and Gale. Gale was at that time the bigger of the two communities. It later converted to flax, and still later wool, before switching to being a sawmill. It used to have a quite substantial water wheel, but this was later replaced by water turbines, which also later provided electricity for the town.
I hope you can understand why I was so upset at losing my film footage. This was a great trip and you're far from seeing everything. Oh, and I hope the sounds of water haven't sent anyone to the bathroom, as there's more water yet to come.
A couple of miles outside Hawes is the hamlet of Hardraw, where I planned to stop for the night. Now, I wouldn't say the Green Dragon Public House held any secrets, because it is well known and it's well advertised. It also does nice food and an excellent pint of Guinness. But behind the pub is a short, pretty path that follows the Hardraw beck up a narrow valley. Though this lovely green and wooded path is indeed very pleasant, it isn't the point of the walk. It's what's at the end of it. And no, it's not the treasure hammered into the side of the log. There's been a lot of sad publicity recently about the famous Sycamore Gap and its place within the Robin Hood Prince of Thieves movie. It's a very significant site, but it was this place that got some of the ladies' pulses racing. This was where Robin Hood took his ablutions under the gaze of the Maid Marian. This is Hardraw Force. I suppose, as this is a camping video, I'd better show you where I was to lay my head for the night. The old Hall Cottage campsite is just the other side of the beck from the waterfall and the Green Dragon. It's down its own little lane beside its own tea room. Again, very quiet as there was only a few of us there. It cost me just £15 for the night, and the facilities were very pleasant, and yes, this place did have lovely hot showers. I think they take everyone but caravans.
A good deal of the houses up here in Wensleydale are what most people would say are old. It's true to say that many of the houses in the area date back to the 17th century or even beyond. Now, if you were to buy a home here, you might expect, due to the age of the buildings, to find some woodworm, perhaps a little dry rot in some corner somewhere, or even something a bit more structural, all due, quite normal, to the age of the building and sometimes to the weather they get up here. It can be quite rough. Only to be expected. It goes with the territory. Just something you take on, moving to a unique part of the world like this. To most of us, it would be no problem. You'd either get into a bit of DIY, do it yourself, or get a builder in. But what do you do if the problem wasn't that easy to fix? There's one house locally that's quite famous for a no easy fix, and it scared the homeowners to death. Rigg House is just up the road and on the outskirts of Apperset. It's a cracking place with quite a substantial building dating back to about 1650. It has umpteen bedrooms, many reception rooms, several staircases, and of course servants' quarters. It stands on its own grounds and looks out across the valley. The perfect place to entertain visiting family and friends. So, what was the problem? Well, Rigg House had one guest who always refused to leave. She stayed in just one small section of the house, but was regularly seen by both the family and visitors and servants alike. Now, most uninvited guests, you just ask them to leave, but this lady had a sort of unsettling disfigurement that put people off, and so nobody had the guts to ask her to bugger off. Not that she could hear. She'd got no head, no lugs. They tried all methods of the day to get rid of her, but having no head, she just couldn't find the door. So the family resorted to a very direct and very final solution to the problem.
Next morning, after a quick breakfast, I hit the road. From Wensleydale, I was heading over the tops initially into Nidderdale. Now, this is where my aforementioned technical problems become even more apparent, but I think I've given you enough of a feel of the place. Bear with me, this is a strange location, and I want to show you it's well worth a visit. At the head of Nidderdale is Howstein Beck, a little stream that has dug deep into the limestone and created a narrow gorge which is festooned with small caves. Naturally, it's become a bit of a tourist attraction, with trails running through it, a visitor centre, a cafe, and of course, a campsite. You have to be fairly fit to wander around the paths, as they are a bit precarious, and so they make you wear a hard hat. Still, if you are a bit adventurous, then this is definitely for you. One of the caves is actually a natural tunnel that comes to the surface within the campsite. It's named after a highwayman called Tom Taylor, who is reputed to have hidden his stash in the cave. I had originally hoped to have camped over for the night. It's priced at only £12 per person, and as always, I'll put a link in the description. But the gorge is also an outdoor activities centre, so was filled with the sounds of noisy kids, who were having a great time. So I decided to move on and find another spot. It was also hard to take photographs and videos when you didn't want to get the children in. To give you a proper idea of the gorge's depth, the cafe sits over the edge and has windows in the floor. The camping field gently slopes down towards the gorge, which is fenced off for safety. It has good facilities, allows fire pits, even has Wi-Fi, and the cafe is open from 9 a.m. With time passing, I was conscious I needed to hit the road. With another night stop in mind, but quite a few miles away, I needed to get a move on.
Typical of this part of Yorkshire, the roads are very windy and you're meeting cars coming the other way, and you get those very silly passing places that come along from time to time. So it keeps you on your toes, to say the least, because you just never know what's coming around the next bend. Some very pretty little villages there.
I passed through a great many villages, but although I didn't stop for long, I couldn't pass by without giving pretty Pateley Bridge a mention, if for no other reason than it has the oldest sweetie shop in England. I'm starting to head back home to Wales now, but I still need one last stopover. And where better than here? I'm sure many of you will have already spotted that railway viaduct in the distance and will know exactly where I am. And for those of you who don't know, I'm at a place called Ribblehead, and that viaduct takes the Settle Carlisle Railway across Blaymore. In effect, I'm sat in the middle between three mountains, Whernside, Pennygent and Ingleborough. Mountains I've walked many a time, and whose innards I've explored on many previous caving expeditions. As you would expect, I did grab a nightcap in the station inn before getting an early night. I looked for signs against overnight parking, but only found a notice warning against disturbing nesting birds. So okay there. In the morning I grabbed a sandwich and a coffee at the railway station. It's manned by volunteers, so I wanted to give my support. In the last moment I saw a train pass over the viaduct. Okay, it wasn't steam, but I thought it made a fitting end to the trip.
Well, finally we're coming to the end of this week's video. I know it's been a very strange and mixed bag, but hopefully you've found some of it, if not useful, then maybe a little bit entertaining. I hope future videos won't have the same technical problems. In fact, I've gone a bit mad and lashed out some of my hard-earned on some new equipment. So, if you've managed to stick it out to the end, can I thank you so very much for watching. I'd love to hear your thoughts. For example, do you like the odd tail I pop in the videos? If you haven't already, please subscribe and share the channel amongst your like-minded friends. And giving me a like lets YouTube know I'm still putting things out there. So until next time, try to keep cool and hydrated, enjoy your camping, but above all else, stay safe. And bye for now.